Good morning or good afternoon, guys. Today we're going to start our unit in ratios and proportions. But before we do that, I want to review what you've learned before in order for you to successfully follow along with ratios and proportions. So you can title this note page, What You Learned Before. And we always say Cornell notes style of notes. So we're going to try to be consistent with that. So in fourth grade, you should have learned something called simplifying fractions. So I'll go ahead and even put the grade level right here. So fourth grade, this is something that we should have mastered in fourth grade. It's called simplifying fraction. Simplifying fractions. So let's say you have 4/8 and they want you to simplify. So simplify 4/8. I think you guys know that you can reduce 4/8. What number goes into both 4 and 8? There is a number that goes into 4 and 8 that divides 4 and divides 8. Feel free to type it in the chat. What number divides both 4 and 8? So a lot of people are saying 2. Yeah, 4 does divide by 2 does divide 4 and 2 does divide 8. But there is an even greater number that divides both of those numbers. So if I were to divide both of them by 2, 4 divided by 2 is 2, 8 divided by 2 is 4. But I can still simplify 2/4. Yeah, one of you guys just said in the chat, 4/8 can be divided by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. This is the simplest fraction, 1/2. Now, 2/4 can be reduced. We can divide both of those by 2 again to get us 1/2. So the simplified form of 4/8 is 1/2. So 4/8 equals 2/4 and equals 1/2. The simplified form is 1/2. But we could say all three of those fractions are equivalent fractions. These are all equivalent fractions. And remember, the word equivalent just means equal. And when we say these fractions are equivalent, it means that they all reduce to the same number. They all reduce to the same number. Oops, sorry for that noise. I just hit my elbow. Okay. I always liked when teachers did these little lines. I don't know if you guys like drawing those, but let's say we have a different example and it asks us to simplify 10/15. 10/15. Go ahead and try to reduce 10/15 to its simplest form. All right, so hopefully you guys try to simplify 10/15. 10/15. What's a number that divides both 10 and divides 15? Good. I see the chat blowing up here, and it seems like all of you guys say that 10 is divisible by 5 and 15 is divisible by 5. Well, 10 divided by 5 is 2. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 2/3. And I can't reduce this anymore. So we would say that 10/15 equals or reduces to 2/3. Okay? And remember, 10/15 and 2/3. So 10/15 and 2/3 are equivalent fractions because they both reduce to the same number. They both are 2/3. Like if you reduce it, you get 2/3 for both of those. Those are equivalent fractions. So Another thing you learned in 4th grade is actually identifying or finding equivalent fractions. So I'm going to move on. If you guys need me to pause, can you say pause in the chat if you need me to slow down? So I just paused, so let's see where we're at. Okay, so we have to identify equivalent fractions given two fractions. So this is our third example. Is 1, sorry, I'm trying to erase this. There we go. Is 1/4 equivalent to 13/52? 13 over 52. Is 1/4 equivalent to 13 over 52? Well, 1/4 seems like it's already simplified. It's already in its simplest form. 1/4 is there. So 1/4. So now we're trying to see if 1/4 equals, with the question mark, if it equals 13/52. So now what you have to investigate, can I reduce 13 and 52? Is there a number that's divisible by 13 that's also divisible by 52? Feel free to use a calculator. I'm looking at a lot of you guys staring at the screen, kind of like blank. Try using a calculator. Is there a number that goes into 52 and goes into 13? Well, there's only two numbers that are divisible, that divide 13. Those numbers are 1 and 13, right? Yeah, thank you to the person that typed it in the chat. So let's see if 13 goes into 52. Get a calculator. Does 13 divide 52 evenly? Does 13 divide 52? I'm waiting for someone in the chat to tell me that 52 is divisible by 13. Good job. Yes. So 13 times 4 is actually 52. So we can divide 13 divided by 13 and then 52 divided by 13. When we do that, 13 divides 13 one time. 13 divides 52 4 times. We just found that 13 over 52 is equivalent to 1/4. So we could say 1/4 and 13/52 are equivalent fractions. Because they both reduce to 1/4. That's pretty cool. All right, we have let me see, 2 more examples? Yeah, we have 2 more examples. And then we're done with our notes. So let's do example 4. Again, if you need me to slow down, you can say pause in the chat. If you are okay with the pace, you can always just say ready in the chat, and that tells me that we're okay on the pacing. So here's your next question. Is 30/54 equivalent to 5/8? is 30/54 equivalent to 5/8? I'll give you guys a second to write that down. So 5/8 is already simplified. I can't reduce 5/8 any further. I can, however, reduce 30/54. Now think of a number that they have in common. What is a number that divides 30 that also divides 54? Well, let's see, 30. 30 is divisible by 1, 2, 5, and 6, and 15, but 15 doesn't divide 54, so 6, I think 6 goes into both of those. Let's try 6. 30 divided by 6 is what, guys? Tell me in the chat. Thank you. Yes. And then 54 divided by 6? 54 divided by 6? Yes, 54 divided by 6 is 9. Okay, that's as far as I can reduce it. 5/9. 5/9 is not equivalent to 5/8. They're not the same thing. So 30/54 is not equivalent to 5/8. Yay, we finally have an example where they're not equivalent. All right, guys, so the last example I'm going to give you is just solving a one-step equation that involves division. So this is something that you guys learned in 6th grade or maybe at the beginning of this school year when I was reteaching it. So this is a 6th grade standard when we're talking about solving equations. So let's say you're given an equation like this. Solve 12x equals 168. So remember the bigger picture of algebra is just to find the mystery number. And x is our mystery number. And 12 is being multiplied. When there's no operation like plus or minus, the operation implied in 12x is 12 times x. I know they don't have a little multiplication sign right there, but it is 12 times x. So the inverse operation of 12 times x is to divide both sides by x. Sorry, divide both sides by 12. What am I saying? So if I divide both sides by 12, you can also write the fraction like this. I usually write the fraction, but some of you, it helps you to just write the symbol to divide. 12 divided by 12 is 1, but I don't want to write 1x because 1x is the same thing as saying just x. That's 1x. So I'm going to write equals 168 divided by 12. 168 divided by 12. I'm going to do it on the side. It looks like it's 14. So the mystery number is 14. That's cool. And then you can double check it later. Like you can check your work. You said x is equal to 14, right? Your original problem was 12x equals 168. Plug in 14 right here. Right here. So now you have 12 times 14 equals 168. 12 times 14 is 168. Yay, you found the right answer. That's how you check your work. You go back and plug it in and see if it's a true statement. And that's it. You just have to review this. We're going to do a couple questions on this and we'll move on tomorrow.